Hello, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast. Our official sponsors are KR Couriers and Transport Limited. This is a Northwest-based courier company delivering all across the UK. They can assist in home moves and removals to large, heavy and bulky items, collections and drop-offs. Fast, safe and reliable deliveries. Please get in touch for a free quote. You'll find all the information within the description. Thank you. Hello everybody and welcome to the All or Nothing podcast with myself, Billy Moore, and today's special guest is Jon Edge. Now, Jon, thanks for coming on.
No worries, Bill.
Right,
nice
Jon, you've got an interesting story to say the least. You've been down that road, fighting addiction. Yeah. You fought those demons, and you're here today to talk about your journey and, let the audience either identify, listen to a great story, or just pass a bit of time away. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jon.
I'm Jon Edge. I'm from Gattaca.
Gaytaker.
Where you filmed the other day. That was my road. We had the church on the corner, Sanfield Road. That's where I lived.
Stephen was from there. You might know him, Kinsella. Yeah, he was in the parish. He was a bit older than you, to be fair. Not too much, not much older. And he watches this show stage.
That was my road, where you filmed right there.
Decent little area.
I remember getting free presents from that church when I was a kid.
It's been there for fucking 300 years.
Well, up the road, that's where I lived, down a little alleyway in a little cottage. So my dad bought that, and then he split up with my mum when I was 2.
So you must have had a fucking pound note back in the day.
But do you know what? When he bought it cheap. It was run down, and then he left me mad. And obviously we had no money, so we grew up in Gattaca but no fucking money. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like a good upbringing, if you know what I mean, because everyone around you had money. I remember fucking hell, people having birthday parties and I'm standing outside, wouldn't even get invited to them. I look back now and I think, why the fuck was I standing outside like? Do you know what I mean? But I was waiting outside for my mates to come out because I weren't allowed in. Do you know what I mean? It was horrible. It wasn't nice. My mum was an alcoholic, so that didn't fucking help.
So you felt like a little bit excluded and put aside and dismissed by like everyday kids around here.
Yeah, so I've got family in Wavertree and I've got family in Speak.
I fucking can't. I can't. Gay taking waivers, I can't have a
But I would have been suited more up there because that's where I felt more at home. So when I was with my family in Speak, I felt more at home there. So I was always going to and from. So sometimes when my mum would go, bit nuts and that, we'd end up living in my nan's and Speak, and I go to St. Christopher's. So people think I'm from Speak, but I'm not, because all my mates are from there and stuff, and I've got ties to there with my uncle with the boxing. People think I'm from Speak, but I'm from Gattaca. But yeah, so I
lived in Greenway Road in Speak. I can remember my earliest memory. I must have been about 3 or 4, and that's where my ma, lived in a little flat. It's knocked down now. Spent a few years there, boxed up there. Left there when I was about 16.
Right.
But and then we moved to Wavertree. You know what I mean? So a few different locations over the past few years in Liverpool.
Whereabouts in Wavertree? Because I know
Chatsworth Estate.
Right, okay.
So we were just off behind a plot shop.
Right.
Tunnel Road.
Because my family was it was a Tunstall and Taunton. And then so you're just off the High Street.
Yeah. So you're a bit down by, you were down by the Zoll and that, weren't you?
So that's because when we were in our later teens, sort of late 90s, early 2000s, that's what we used to graft down there. Lawrence Road, the High Street, Old Swan. They were our little things. We're doing our little weed rounds and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So we knew them roads pretty fucking well.
So do you think taking you from one area to another and feeling less than and not having any money and not being, fitting in, kind of like you became fucking addicted to drugs?
Yeah,
or was there loads of like contributing factors, Jon? Was there any trauma?
I think loads, because with my mum drinking, obviously the amount of fucking shit she used to put us to, and then the stuff with my dad as well, because he wasn't around, but then he'd pick us up for a weekend, we go to Runcorn, didn't fucking fit in there, because we were only there for 2 days, and he was a bit rough with us, do you know what I mean? So
your half fella was from up them ways then?
He's from Speak himself, but when he split up with me ma, he ran off up there with the babysitter, you know what I mean, and he started a new life, and I'm close with my brothers and that, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's basically what happened. So it was hard because at home we had my mum drinking and stuff, and you never knew what you were going to get because I love my mate a bit, but you go in one day and it'd be fucking cooking and cleaning and getting done, and then one day you go in, it'd be fucking murder, mate. Do you know what I mean? So you never knew where. My mum was a proper Jekyll and Hyde, and then like, so it was hard. So drugs for me, I started taking drugs at 11, and it was just an escape for me.
It's an early age, that, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah,
you know, like, so, and I took them right through. Started with weed, LSD trips, you know, drinking, and then moved on. Then when I started raving when I was 15, into tablets and that, you know what I mean?
You start early, like 11. I mean, personally, I probably started stealing some marzipan out of my auntie's handbag when she used to come down, like the eggs, because like, she gave me one once, and I felt this little wobble of it. I was like, wow. And that was I was always seeking El Dorado. You know, every time she'd come down, I'd have to like start stealing them out of her handbag. And then it was more, and then, you know, obviously the progression, it takes you down. Like you just explain, then you went from that to this, you know. Yeah,
from like the ecstasy scene turned into like Charlie, you know what I mean? And then as we started getting older, and I think like from like sort of 2000 to 2009, I was just fucking around the bend, mate. Do you know what I mean? I was like...
So 9 years of your life was just...
I was like proper chaotic. There was all sorts of shit going on.
It's a long time, that, isn't it, John?
Yeah, and I mean full on. I was living a double life as well, because I got a job in the council as a lifestyle fitness instructor. But then like, I was out doing other things. I was doing all illegal stuff, getting up to no good. And I was proper in that world, you know what I mean? So I was living a double life, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it caught up to me big time, because I had a breakdown, mate, in 2009. Fucking tried to do myself in, do you know what I mean? So,
and that's what people don't, like, understand, that if you played it safe forward, which 99.9% of us don't, and see a consequence or an outcome, potentially, you know, we might have second thoughts, but we haven't got that hindsight, have we? Until we've gone through those experiences. And that was like, it's a similar identification. For me, it was just the same. You know, decades went by, you know, and it was like, what the fuck? You know, and there's no stopping. And it was all blame and escape, and, you know, couldn't face fucking life on life's terms and all that. Like, most of them were excuses for me. You know?
Totally,
And my breakdowns were probably like similar to yours, but in different ways.
Mine was fucking... I didn't know what was real. And like, so...
It's just the cocaine that's caused this. Yeah.
It was, mainly. And I'd have a dream that, like, you know, I was fucking ranting and raving, causing murder and arguing with police and fucking screaming in my undies in the garden, and then I'd wake up and think, fucking hell, it was a mad dream, nah. And then I'd go to this counselor with me fucking bed, and she was like, yeah, we fucking kicked off me mask, and then the police come, and then one of the police actually knew me. He was a lifeguard, you know what I mean? And he was actually speaking to me on the phone, and I'm like, you fat cunt, get down here, I'll kill you. But I'm in my garden screaming in my undies. Fucking neighbours were terrified of me. But like, I didn't know what was real. Do you know what I mean? I'd be walking down the road, and I'm thinking like, is this fucking real or not? Because I was around the bend, the doctors gave me these mirtazapine. They were like the strongest form of like tablet that you could take, you know what I mean, at the time. And like, usually, one of my mates who'd been shot, he said that's what he took for severe trauma. You know, like if someone dies and you've like, this is what they were for. And I remember the doctor coming in and he was like, have you had suicidal thoughts? And I hadn't. And then when he said that, I just broke down and started crying. And I was like, fucking hell, man, what the fuck's going on with me? I couldn't fucking feel real, honest. It was fucking horrible to feel, and I was crying my eyes out in front of this fucking fella. And I'm like, listen, lad, I'm staunch, mate. I'm as hard as they fucking come. I was like a fucking little girl. Do you know what I mean? I just completely, utterly gone. Bad. And then, like, I couldn't even accept it. It was mad because signed me off work. Just fucking signed me right off. So in the council, you get full pay. After like, I think it was about 4 weeks, I was like, I need to get back to work. I felt like I was getting worse the longer I was off. I felt like I'm going worse,
So much time on your hands.
So I was saying, doctor, sign me back. And he was like, look, John, you need rest. You just need rest. And I was like, sign me back now. Sign me back. I goes into work, I never forget it, lad. And I even remember the supervisor's name, Terry Wilson. I put the note in. And they were like, oh, it's good to see you, John. And as I turned round, Terry come out the office and he went, all right, John. And he put his hand on me. It's good to see you. And he put his hand on my shoulder. As soon as that hand went on my shoulder, lad, I started burst out crying. I just fucking ran off, sat in my car, fucking started crying my eyes out. I phoned the doctors and I was like, I can't go back. He went, John, I've told you, just go home and rest, please, just go and rest. Take the tablets, because I didn't even want to take them. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I was fucking weak.
Yeah.
And then in the end, that's why I always say to people, the reason why we were doing all this fighting demon stuff, because tablets worked for me. Do you know what I mean? They helped me. They sorted things out, because I was not in a bend, you know what I mean? I wasn't like seeing clear, and they lowered everything down for me, and they helped me sleep, because every night I just couldn't sleep. I was restless, like.
Yeah.
And they helped me. So that's one I'm an advocate for, is when people say, don't take them pills, and I'm like, they work for me. I'm not saying they work for everyone, but they did work for me.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it was like, when I did finally get, and this breakdown lasted a year.
Yeah.
This went like, it was a full year I was off the scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't work, I couldn't do fuck all. But after it, when I went back to the council, there was I think his name was Kevin Knox, the manager, fucking sound with me, fucking boss he was. He was like, he was there for me, proper, like most managers are shit. He was like, proper, you're all right, John, is everything okay, is there anything we can do? And he was fucking sound. So went back to work, and then, because I was into the fighting and stuff, I started, I got in touch with someone, a fella called Alan Kaufman, and I only went there to just do a little bit of training, nothing serious, I'd done all that. I was like, for a year now, I was fucking smoking ciggies and fucking drinking coffee, mate, and like just staring at the wall. So I just wanted a bit of normality and get back training.
Yeah, get your self-esteem working.
Yeah, again. Even when I went in there, I'm like the loudest one in the room. It was dead quiet, dead sheepish. When I got in there, I started moving now, I started sparring. He come over to me after one of the sessions and he said, look, lad, you lose a bit of weight, lad, and like, you could get back in here, you still got it, you know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, you're messing at you. Fucking, you know what I mean? I was like, I was done with fighting. But a little bulb went in my head, and I thought, maybe I could give it another go. So it was like, it was 2011 now, and I ended up having a good comeback fight. After that, it come round that he was saying that because of the fight, the lad messed me once of the rematch. He was saying, look, that fight was good, but we could get a title for this now and the next one. But then it planted a seed in me head, because the last fight I had for Carbon, Colin Edden said to me, fucking win this fight, and your next fight you're fighting for the title.
So what fight style was you?
Muay Thai, Thai boxing.
Yeah, so you had that.
So I started off kickboxing.
Yeah.
In the late 90s. I moved into Thai boxing with Colin Edden, because he had a show in the Mannix, I think it was like 98 or 99. And one of our fighters, Robin, his name was, he fought a lad from Carbon. He got absolutely annihilated in one round. I went, I'm going there. That's the club for me, that, because he was like the best one in our club.
Yeah.
So I went there, and I knew a few lads in there. And I ended up training with some of the best fighters in the world, and it brought me on leaps and bounds. I would get my head punched in every day, but it brought me on loads. So that was where that sort of come into it. And then when I started working in Crockstuff, I went up to the stairs. Some lad come in the gym once, said to me, I had a black eye, bit of tissue up my nose, and he went, what have you been doing? You fighting? I said, no, mate, sparring. He said, oh, why, what are you? And I went, oh, a Thai boxer, because Colin used to do training in Crocky on a Tuesday and Thursday, and this was on like the Friday after sparring, and he basically called it on with me. He said, I'll be in tomorrow, I'll have you to spar. I thought, you cheeky cunt, you know what I mean? Sound. I thought, okay. So Saturday morning, I'm fucking wrapping my hands up. He comes in, goes, what are you doing there? I said, wrapping my hands up for you, lad. And he went, I said, I'll see you up there, lad. I fucking battered him, mate. Fucking leathered him. And he was like, I'm not used to Thai boxing. I'm used to the kickboxing points. So I was like, what the fuck? I said, go ahead, lad. 1 to 10. Fucking 1, 2, 3, 4. Just fucking battered him. But in the room, there was a trainer, coach called Richie Rooney. And he was training John Donnelly. And he seen what I'd done to this lad. And what happened was, there was another fella, one of the supervisors. He was a former Thai boxer. He come in laughing his head off. So he started doing pads for me, giving me like a bit of a workout, and then as he blathering me on the pads, you know how hard it is, Thai pads.
Yeah.
At the end of the round, they're like, goes, yeah, I'll spar, you know. And they're like, goes, yeah, lad. He's fucking knackered. I said, nah, it's sound. I fucking battered him again. So Richie Rooney was watching this. He was seeing how fucking fit I was, how strong I was.
Yeah.
We'd done it a few rounds. He blitzed me on the pads, and then I just fucking blitzed him with a little spar. And he come over to me and he went, have you ever boxed before? I said, no. I said, my uncle's into the boxing, Paul King. And he said, oh, fucking no, Paul. He said, have you ever thought about boxing? We'll stick it in the ABAs. You'll win them. I went, all right. I said, go ahead. I'll have a go with that. So come round, we were going in them. value was going in them. He was like, look lad, this, because he thought I was going to get an easy walk, you know, like, because he seen how fit I was, how strong I was. He was like, you're fucking pissed, these under 10s, you know what I mean? But when it comes to it, this kid, Tony Bellew, was going in, and he said to me, I never forget it, because he doesn't really say much to it. He was like, look lad, he's fucking tasty. He's tasty, this kid. And I was like, fuck him, I'll have a go with that. Because I used to go down and train with Darbo, because he was mates with our Paul. Sweet sort of there. I used to go down and train with Darbo on a Tuesday and Thursday.
He was my first coach, Paul King.
Was he?
Yeah. He was in St. Ambrose ABC.
Yeah,
And he was my coach, Paul. Oh, Paul, though.
Because, mate, I used to have him in bits when I was a kid, because when we go around to theirs, because I was like that, loads of energy, just have me sitting there, beads of sweat, doing press-ups and sit-ups, and that's it. He used to laugh his head off, because it was the only time he got to read the paper, and he just, I'm like, that's how to impress him, thinking I'm going to be a fighter one day. But, he sound that, but anyway, I had a hernia in my groin, and it come off for the operation, but I'd already knocked it back when I was in Carbon for a fight. So it was like, if you knock it back again, you take it off the list. So I said to Richie, look, I need to have this operation. He said, Sam, so we didn't go in them. Fucking Sony knocked everyone out. Fucking bladdered them all. And I was like, I still fancy me chances. Do you know what I mean? Because when I was training with Arbo on a Tuesday and Thursday, he'd actually come in. So I actually seen him. And I didn't really rate him until he hit the fucking bags, mate. And like, fucking hell, he could fucking whack. He could really fucking whack, like Tong Po type fucking whack, you know what I mean? It was like, he was a big puncher. So anyway, the next one's come now. So that was 2002. Again, me being around the fucking bend, I was like, I bought a BM, lit it off around Bolton Golf Course, corkscrewed through mid-air, went through the golf course into a tree, had a load of gear on me, fucking lashed that, nearly died, broke all my ribs, cracked my sternum, cracked my cheek, fucking climbed up the roof, tried to get off, fucking loads of stuff, ended up on a charge in time, fucking fighting. That was crazy. I mean, we were all out, work night out, and fucking, just we were all neck tablets ready to start partying in the Wonder Bar, and my mate comes over and goes, this lad's fucking snarling at me. It's like, lad, fucking leg him, lads, we're having a party and all that. Next minute, they're going outside. Went off. We started scrapping. Take in mind, I'm training 4 or 5 hours a day. You know what I mean? So I was fucking fit. And I didn't realise what happened. I just fucking hit a few people and whatever. And then fucking ended up in Cork. One of the lads was seriously hurt. He broke his neck, you know what I mean? And when we were in court, they were charging me mate with that, but we were in court and fucking Crown scary as fuck. Do you know what I mean? When they were talking, you could see, they had the video, you see. Yeah. That's how I got completely off with it, because you could see me pulling my mate back, and you can see the lad telling me mate to get over the road, and he's pushing his beard away. So you can see he was causing it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you could see me trying to pull my mate back, but then you can see his mate going round, and I'm not messing with you, Bill. If I wouldn't have seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have said this is what happened, you know what I mean? But as soon as it's turned and it's gone violent, I've just been fucking banging them out like fucking, and when they watching it, they looking at me in the court like I was a fucking assassin, because I was fucking head kicking them and everything. This is back in 2002, no one has seen nothing like that. I'm fucking boom, 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 boom. I'm just fucking dropping like dominoes. But like, to me, it was just, we were just fighting everyone in the thing. They didn't have a fucking chance, like, you know what I mean? But anyway, the lad was seriously hurt anyway, and this was all around that time. Yeah. This is how I got to know Joe Kidd, the dad. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because my sister's fella, he played in a snooker team. He had a club called The View, and he was like, look, I want you to meet this fella, see if he can like calm me down, talk to him, give me some advice. And which he did. So I went up there thinking, fuck, but he did, because at the time I had a load of stuff going on. That's what I mean, them early 2000s. Like he called me the cat with 9 lives, because I had that many things going on. And I just didn't give a fuck. I mean, as soon as I got out of the hospital, I ripped all the things out in the intensive care. Yeah. I fucking got off, do you know what I mean? It was like, I was around a fucking bend. And it was all drugs based, do you know what I mean? All around that life. And as I say, it fucking caught up to me big time. 2009, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Do you know what I mean? It was a crazy fucking thing, what happened and how it happened and why. But when I got over it, and I say started training again, and I got back into training with Alan Kaufman. I started fighting at the fight come back, and then this title fight come back, but it took me back to when I was 21.
Yeah.
To when Colin Aaron said it to me, and I was like, wow, wait there a minute, this is fucking mad, this.
Surreal.
This is like 10 years, I've just been fucking messing my life around. So I spoke to my brother, and my brother he was like doing film and stuff for MTV and all camera stuff and that, and I said to him, I think this is a bit of a story, this. I think this is like, you know, a bit of a comeback story, what I've done, or what changed my life around. I wasn't arsing around, I wasn't taking drugs, I wasn't getting involved in drugs, I wasn't getting involved in crime. I'd completely turned my life around. And I thought, I think there's a bit of a story here. But the story was, right, when it first coming out, it was about me. Because I wanted to tell people I got over drugs. And it was my ego. So, like, I'm fighting for the title. I've cleaned my act up. What? I've done it. Do you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, that was what the Fighting Demons was. It really was. It was like, it was all about me. I wanted them to, like, you know, I thought, you know, film all the training, get it all done. Like Rocky, you know, come back from the depths and, like, you know, and I've done it. But then what happened was, we put 2 promos out. Because I said to me brother, come on, get it done, get it out there. And he put 2 promos out. Fucking hell, man. The fucking people that were messaging me, right? I've been there, you know, and I was giving them advice, and I'm thinking, like, what the fuck's going on here? This is about me. This is my story, not yours. Fuck off, you know what I mean? But I was getting that many. I was like...
People can identify, can't they?
Mate, it went off the scale. I ended up doing a free boxing camp, a Fighting Demons thing. We just went with it, raising money for charity. We done loads of stuff. I've like helped millions of fighters, but loads of like just people messaging me, and it was all off them promos, and it just went off. Do you know what I mean? And then next minute, I was like, the story's completely changed now. It's not about me no more. We dropped all that. Well, I did. Do you know what I mean? And it's mainly just about sharing the story to help others. So that's where all like the platforms, when we started like the Fighting Demons podcast, and you know, the documentary, there's a lot more fighters involved. You know, like my best mate Tasha, she's done a good interview. Danny Roberts, another good mate of mine. You know, we go back a long way with these people, not just in fighting. I used to work on the doors with Danny. Do you know what I mean? Like we like. See, all this time in the early 2000s to 2000 and like sort of say 10, but like I had a year off with that breakdown. I worked on the doors. I worked for the Lynches. You know what I mean? So that was another wild time, because then when we'd finished working and the people were coming out, I'd end up getting off with them and going partying. Do you know what I mean?
It's hands in hands, isn't it?
So that's why after I had the breakdown, I remember working on the doors, and it didn't feel right. It was like I'd lost that little bit of edge. I always had the banter, and I was always like, just if people come up kicking off, I calm it down. I could like I had the chat, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to use my weight if I didn't need to, you know what I mean? I'd always talk my way out of it, and I sort of lost that. I felt a bit edgy, a bit nervy, and I thought, this is fucking weird, you know what I mean? So that's why I come off the doors. But I seen you at Paul Arden on. So Paul Arden looked after me on the doors. Back in, that must have been 2008, I met Paul. So someone was, everyone was talking about him. I think he's not long got out.
Yeah.
But I obviously didn't know him, because he boxed at a different time to me. So there's a fella we worked on the doors with, I think his name was Mally. And he went, he's the hardest fella I've ever been in with. He said, I can close my eyes and still feel a punch. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah. And he went, yeah. So anyway, met him. What his job was basically to mind Jon. You know, like Jon just looked after him.
Yeah.
Basically, Jon would go around the clubs, we all worked on them, and Jon would go around overseeing them, but he'd have like a group of people that would go around with him, and Paul was one of them. But he couldn't stand it, because he just felt it as like boring.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be on the doors. So when we were on there, if Paul liked it, he liked it. If he didn't, he just fucking, you'd know about it. Yeah. Just fucking blank you. Do you know what I mean? And
he's like that anyway, he's quiet, Paul.
He took an instant like to me. And he just, like, he'd sit in the car, he wouldn't even get up the car, and as soon as I'd turn up, he'd come, what's happening, lads, you okay? And then we just hit it off. So I've always got a lot of time for Paul. I remember getting called in the office, and John Lynch was saying, look, if he says anything to you, let me know, because he's like, he seems to have took a liking to you, because he doesn't fucking like anyone, do you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, really? Because he was fucking sad with me. And I remember one time it went off, society, and he was like, get behind me, lad. Lad, he fucking ironed everyone out, lad. Boom, 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 lad, he could scrap, mate. He could proper scrap. And he just put people away, and it was fucking... I remember not long after it, he disappeared. And I seen him, and he was like, fuck that, I'm working, I can't be arsed with that, lad, you know what I mean? And then he went away then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't see him, and then I heard loads of stuff about him, and I was like, I couldn't believe it, do you know what I mean? But, because he weren't like that with me.
No.
You know what I mean? He was dead protective with me, you know what I mean? I don't know whether because I was like young, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, he looked at me like a bit of a son mode, but he could fucking scrap, mate. I'm telling you that, like.
Yeah, I've known Paul for a long time now, like, and he's not, and his dad.
Well, I know the dad,
Yeah.
I know Billy, and Fran.
Yeah.
See, I worked with Fran on the doors, but Fran's like, you know, comes from the box and he's dead sound, and like, Paul's got something about him.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Different personalities.
Totally
different. But both knockout merchants.
Mate,
Yeah.
proper. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get on with Fran. We box because obviously I run Aylwood. Because that was another part of my story, is like, giving back. So I opened Aylwood. Before that, I bought Gemini a boxing ring. But obviously the kids from Aylwood, they were having problems on Wood End.
Yeah.
So I ended up opening up Aylwood, which had been shut for about, I don't know, about 16 years. So that takes up all my time. So literally now, that's why we kept missing each other, because of the club, but because we've got a couple of weeks off, fitted in nice. But Aylwood's boss, it's just boss. This is why my story, sharing it, I'm always trying to tell the kids the do's and don'ts, and trying to read them the riot act so they can get what I didn't get out of boxing, do you know what I mean? And
yeah, because if you don't do it's like, it's simple, isn't it? Like, you can end up on that path of, like, you know, dealing, fucking prison, taking drugs, you know, premature death comes in as well, you know, so there's a lot going on mentally, physically, you know, spiritually.
Yeah.
And then you've been through that whole cycle, come out the other end, you've worked there, you've done, you know, a lot of work on yourself now to get to a place of, like, solace. You know, and now you've got your little boxing club in Aylwood. How's your life now with all that?
My life now,
After taking away the drugs and...
fucking boss, to be honest, it is. To be honest, at first, right, it was like, I did struggle because I didn't know myself. You know
and
what
that's
I mean?
the biggest problem, in finding out who you are.
Fucking hell, mate, because I've been with my bird. I've been with my bird since I was 15, but all the shit I put her through, going out and going missing for days on end and all that went on for years. Do you know what I mean? So building that back up, that was hard. And then also, because you took drugs from such a young age, you don't know yourself.
No, you become the age you are the minute you stop.
Yeah.
When you took them, you say you took them at the age of 11, you're probably still acting like a kid.
Yeah.
Because you haven't allowed yourself to emotionally develop, and that people don't get that.
Yeah.
See, loads of these addicts who were in the 40s, 50s are acting like teenagers.
Yeah.
Because that's when they fucking started.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed.
Yeah.
You know, they carries on, and they've just like numbed the feelings.
I always found with drugs, I had certain people that I'd always go to. And whenever I went with them certain people, we'd talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'd have like this person that could be in like fucking cars. I wasn't with him for like, I don't know, fucking 3 years. But then when I see him, it'd be like talking about cars. And then this person, it'd be like, you don't move forward. You always stay in the same thing. That's what I always found. So my thing with drugs, I've been to all sorts of counsellors. Some of them were all right. But I just found myself, what worked for me was not putting myself in bad situations with bad people. So I've changed my circle big time. Do you know what I mean?
People, places and things, yeah.
And that was a big one for me. Another one for me was not putting a time limit on it. A time, because that to me is like a...
Pressure.
Yeah, that's a time bomb, that. Because, you know, if you tell me not to do it, I'm going to do it. So when people say 1 day, 2 days, I've done 365 days, you know, 24 hours and 36 minutes and 25... I'm like, I'm ready to get on it now. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like... So I just take each day as it comes, and I don't put myself in bad spots. So I sort of know, like, I'm going to Tasha's fight on the weekend, you know, I'll know where to go, where not to go, and, you know, after it I come home, I won't be going out. I don't put myself in places where I'm vulnerable to that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not like no martyr or nothing. Do you know what I mean? I don't. You know, could slip up anytime.
It's mad,
so
and
I don't put a thing on it, me.
Yeah, it's mad, because like, the likes of yourself and like myself, like it's like, you know, many other people out there, addiction runs rife in their life. It's and it brings them to their knees, and it takes them to dark places. You know, it not only ruins your life, it ruins the people that love you. It ruins their life. You know what I mean? It's and your community, the trust that you develop with people. You know, then you've got the insecurities, the paranoia, the feeling, and all that stuff is from fucking drugs. Yeah, I know, right? Now, like yourself, you know, I'm probably going to hear the same from you than what I'm going to say is, like, my life, right? They used to say to me, you know, you'll have a life beyond your wildest dreams, Bill, when you stop. I was like, fucking hell, you're joking, aren't you? But you know what I have, because I can see things for what they are. I can have a laugh, right? I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm not sitting in a cell. You know, writing a letter to some fucking random bird that won't visit me anyway. That's the lifestyle I lived, you know what I mean? So, coming to, like, full circle, what's your take on it now, your life? What's the positives that you've got out of... I know you can talk about avoiding this and being mindful about that and not counting this, but what's the positives that you've got?
I'm just being present with my family.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Being present with me. I've got a 5-year-old son. He's never seen that side of me. Wow. My daughter did. You know what I mean?
So that's like an incredible, like, answer, and something that you could come up with is like being present. Yeah. You know,
I think that's the most important thing.
Being there and not elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like I've got a little 3-year-old and a little, you know, they've never seen me use, you know, none of the kids, you know, my missus hasn't seen me. It's like, fucking wow. And then when you tell them, that wasn't you. You know what I mean? Okay, let's hope it's not. Yeah. Because I'm not complacent to a point where I think, oh, I'll never relapse. Yeah. You know, I hope it won't.
See, that's exactly how I am. Yeah. I don't put that on myself. No. You know what I mean? Because I just think if I am, it's just like that weight.
If you said, it's like, I'll never ever use again. How many people have said that to me, you know, I'll never use again, right? And then 6 months later, they're in the grip, and you think, and the shame they're feeling, right? Because they've said that, and then they can't face you, look you in the eyes. It's fucking horrible. So, what are we on now, John? Yeah, we're doing all right. So, I want to ask you the question that I ask everyone, John, right? Yeah. As we said, we'll keep this like as a positive focus on what we're doing for the community and what you're doing, because you've got let's talk about like what you're doing now for the community.
What I do for the community, basically, we opened Aylwood ABC. I've had millions of kids over the years since 2016.
Someone will probably say you haven't had millions.
No, do you know, like, yeah, probably. But
we exaggerate.
What it was though, why I say millions is because Aylwood never had, because Aylwood never had a boxing club. So we've literally took loads of kids off the streets. They had 3.
Was Roseheath one of them?
3, yeah. Roseheath.
But I think I'm sure I boxed a kid from Roseheath years ago. I'm talking back in the 80s, like.
But what we've done for such a small club, we've had kids in the ABAs, semi-finals. We've got kids coming through now, you know, looking on getting on the pathway to England. For such a small club,
you've done
that's
so
why
much.
It's massive. That's why I opened the other gym, Synetico, because it was just where we are. We kept it in the Boise. It's just a small little room. Yeah. That's why I say millions, because it's fucking shocker. Do you know what I mean? It's shocker, and it's like we opened Synetico, and now that's shocker. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it looked like I might need to get somewhere bigger in the future. But
brilliant.
I mean, to be honest, that was down to Darren Smith, because as I said to you before, I was going to open a coffee shop. Yeah. Because I wanted to, obviously all the time that we give with the kids, it's all voluntary. So it's bossing that, and you know, you're giving back to the community, and you're making a better place. One of the reasons, well, with them kids riding on bikes, they were doing me head in, but I thought they've got nothing to do. So I thought, open the gym, get them off the streets, you know, get rid of that antisocial behaviour. Yeah. And obviously the knife crime that was going on, do you know what I mean? That was another thing. So I'm more like a doer. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's
action.
One of my sayings is like, there's 2 people in life, sayers and doers. What are you? And I'm a doer. Rather than like spouting it here, there and everywhere, I'll just fucking do it.
Action. That's it, mate. It's like, you know, you can speak a lot of shite. You can spout a lot of stuff on social media. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but you know, is your integrity and your words matching? Because if you're out there actively engaging, you know, bringing someone's life into, you know, their light and going, look, shining a light on what you're doing here, can you change? And that's something positive, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think that's one of the things with the gym as well, when you've got kids, teenage kids, and you can see they're going to go off the rails.
Yeah.
And I've been there, so I know how to, like, sort of time rein them in.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, there's only been a couple since we've opened that have slipped through that net. But imagine how many more there would have been if it wouldn't have at the gym.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the things.
Just the one person, innit? Yeah,
like the amount of texts and stuff I get off the parents.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rewarding.
Even like when kids leave, you know, they'll come and see me, they'll knock on my door with like flowers and chocolates and that. Thanks for everything you've done for me. And, you know, the kids that have got like jobs and, you know, they've moved on, they've got to them at boxing. I'm like, this is what you've got out of boxing. Brilliant. You know, like, you don't need to be a champion. Look what you're going to do in your job.
Exactly.
You've got the drive now to be the best. You're not just going to go in and be a worker. You're going to go in and be a leader and, you know, get the supervisor and be a manager and one day be a boss. And that's what you've got because you got into boxing at a young age. So these are the things I tell the kids. It's not just about being a champion. And it was also one of the things with Synetico. I've got like one of my lads now, Alex Simpson. He works in the gym for free. I'd never charge him. He does his classes, kids classes, PTs, and that's what I wanted for me boxers, because most boxers will not make a penny out of boxing. Yeah, and they'll end up, you know, if they're lucky, they'll get a job. Most go into graft, and then they end up taking it. I know because I've done it. Do you know what I mean? So I wanted to give them an opportunity of like not going into that and staying in the sport what they love, because, you know, you can make money out of it. Be a boxing-based PT, work in the gym. You know, build your client base up. And so I like to think that, like, they've got other options than boxing. Yeah, brilliant. And I can do that for them. Do you know what I mean? So that was one of the big things with Synetico. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's working. It's doing it. 2 years old now, and the gym's booming. Massive, brilliant. Yeah.
So we're coming to the end now, John. Right? I want to ask you this question that I ask everyone. Right? So you've got, that pearl of wisdom. That what would you? I know you've, because I'm thinking he's already said this. You know what I mean? But I want to hear it from you, right?
Yeah.
What would you say, right, to a young Jon Edge now? Right, think about this. Yeah. Right? Coming through the doors of life, if you had an opportunity and you've seen your life and the way you've lived and the drugs you've took and the breakdowns you've had, you know, and the path it's took you on, right? And you're there now, right? And a young Jon Edge walks through the fucking door of your gym, and you know what would you say? What guidance?
It sounds like cliche, but it would be, don't touch fucking drugs. And don't even look at them. Don't take them as a fucking, you know, you're just having a little taste with your mate, or you're just having a little puff to see what it's like. Don't fucking stay away from it. Stay away from it. Just fucking, because your bodies and your minds aren't developed anyway. Do you know what I mean? If you want to do it when you're older, in your 20s, do it, but just don't play with yourself. That's what I'd say. Just do not touch it. Like yourself, be a kid. Enjoy your fucking youth, enjoy your childhood. Brilliant. And that's my advice.
And hopefully you'd listen.
Yeah, that's it. Do you know what I mean?
And with that, John, please, I'll put all your links and that into the description as well. So if you want to contact John, Fighting Demons, he's got a podcast.
Yeah.
You want to get on it, you know, people can identify and relate with your story. I've enjoyed it. And with that, once again, thanks.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks for coming on, John.
Thanks, mate.